You know, with the winter weather we've had this season, it's no wonder many of you have found new ways to stay warm. Some snuggle up to the fireplace, others use space heaters, and you might use an electric blanket.
But as Fox 8 On Your Side found out, not all electric blankets are safe. Our investigative reporter Crystal Griffith joins us now with more on that. I understand some firefighters locally believe an electric blanket actually caused a fire.
Not only caused the fire, but ended up causing the Greensboro man's death. James and Elizabeth Walker went to bed December 14th, warm under their electric blanket. Around 3 a.m. they awoke. James called 911. We don't know every detail, but we do know Mr. Walker did not make it out alive.
Emergency 911. May I help you?
It's a phrase Jennifer Johnston says more than 100 times a night and has for the 5 years she's worked at Greensboro's Communications Center.
Oh yeah, we get really crazy calls, but they just kind of go in one ear and out the other.
But one call
Emergency 911.
that Jennifer got December 15th sticks with her.
It upset me. I took that one home with me. I don't normally take my work home with me, but that one bothered me for a long time.
Can y'all go ahead and get out of the house?
There's no smoke in here.
Well, go ahead and get out of the house, okay?
It bothered Jennifer because she couldn't convince Mr. Walker to leave his house. Even though he called 911, he didn't survive the fire. His wife did, and while she didn't want to go on camera, she did help investigators determine what caused the fire.
We narrowed the cause of that fire down to an electric blanket, and was able to do that through a pretty easy process in the fact that the lady of the house was a good eyewitness.
She said the fire started on the blanket between her and her husband, a rare occurrence, but not unheard of. The Consumer Product Safety Commission attributed 2,600 house fires to electric blankets between 1994 and 1998. 150 of those resulted in injuries. 30 resulted in death. While that's fewer than fires caused by clothes dryers, fans, even televisions, not many of us think the very thing we turn to keep us warm at night might cause us harm.
So you could be laying in the bed, sound asleep, and this electric blanket, through no abuse or no harm, or age is not even a factor. It could short out and you've got a fire.
That's especially true if you're sleeping under a blanket made before May 1st, 2000. That's when Underwriters Laboratory, an independent company that tests electrical equipment, changed its standards. Prior to that, if a fire or short were on one end of a blanket, it wouldn't automatically shut down the entire blanket. You see how it doesn't shut down in this video. In fact, the fire would have to be within the first 50 feet of the wire inside the blanket to shut off. Most blankets have between 60 and 100 feet of wire. Today, all electric blankets are required to have safety circuits that detect fire or a short anywhere in the blanket. We don't know how many years Mr. and Mrs. Walker had their electric blanket, nor do we know all the details of the fire. But we do know whatever fumes Mr. Walker inhaled caused him serious disorientation.
Don't fall bad.
What?
Don't fall bad.
Right. We're sending the police, the fire department out as soon as possible, but I need you to get out of the house, okay?
You hear it in the 911 tape. One of the reasons fire investigators requested the medical examiner run toxicology tests on Mr. Walker, tests that show he was not intoxicated, but died from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Some of these electrical components will emit toxins within the smoke that cause people to become disoriented. I hesitate to use the word irrational, but they don't have a rational thought process.
Greensboro Police and Fire.
While it's information that does little to comfort Jennifer, she knows she tried her best. And she has to focus on helping the person at the other end of her next call.
I try to make it every day as a new day.
Now, we called Sunbeam, the company that manufactures the majority of electric blankets in the United States. While they were one of many manufacturers years ago, they manufacture almost all electric blankets within the past 5 years. While there is no evidence that the Walker's blanket was a Sunbeam blanket, the people we spoke with at Sunbeam would like you to know what you can do to better protect yourself. First, protect the power cord. You want to make sure it's not stuck between a mattress and box springs, or out and get run over by a vacuum, or even eaten by a pet. It's important that the power cord not be damaged. Secondly, wash the blanket according to the instructions. The main thing is you can't put it in the washer like you would any other blanket. And finally, just inspect your blanket every now and then. You want to make sure there are no areas where you inadvertently cause damage that could lead to a fire. Here is a brand new one shown right here. And as you can see, there's no nicks, no problems.
Yeah.
Made in 2002, a good blanket.
Now, Crystal, does this mean that people need to consider throwing away their old electric blankets?
Well, it's up to every individual, but the ones made in the past 3 years are the safest. That would make me feel the most comfortable. No matter what, follow the instructions.
Looks like there's some digital electronics there, too. All right, Crystal, thank you. We'll be back with the final weather word after this. Stay with us.